No, that's not. My name's Sarah. I'm an aerialist and a writer, and I work with Emma and Rosie in Uncaged Aerial Theatre. So I started off as a writer, just wanting to make stories really, and I think with those stories, like wanting to make a change with things. So my writing has been sort of crime fiction or science fiction, some of it quite feminist fiction, and that's also like found itself into my work as well. And I suppose it's all been about expression, like unlocking a voice in myself and then with other people. So I also teach writing. I love teaching. That's where I think that's where my kind of narrative side of things comes from in my aerial. I think when I moved here, I was really struggling actually. I'd moved and had like, you know, just family things and all kinds of things. And the thing that I used to do to write, the place where I had my expression and articulate my emotion and all those things, I couldn't write and I couldn't speak to anyone about things. And then so I started doing aerial, and there was something in the progression, like the progressive, like you learn one thing, it's really hard, then you learn it, and then you're like, you can do it, and it's like, oh wow. And I think when there are moments in your life that are really static, when you have that progression and that movement, you just feel a bit better because there is still like a sense of change. And the other thing was like just this weird feeling of capacity. Like I didn't think that I could do those things, or I didn't think I'd ever be strong enough. Like I had no dance background or no kind of like gymnastic background, or you know, I'd never like ran about or just anything like that. I hadn't done anything. And then I was so captured by this this ability, like this equipment that just is, you know, this static thing until you touch it. And then you touch it and something from you, and you know, between you and the hoop, where I started with hoop, like I think I found like this connection and way to speak, like from my body or from my heart. So, and then, you know, you look for as many aerial opportunities as you can. So I started training at Dynamics with Emma, and just her knowledge and technique and her different way of doing things as well just really unlocked things for me. And so I went off and did a professional course. I think without seeing that, like someone in this region doing something like that, you would just, and there's nothing wrong with that, you would just kind of, you know, do it as a hobby, you'd do it like twice weekly, whatever. But like seeing, you know, other things happening, especially here, I think, made me see like all the things that are possible. Like I think when I started out, I just thought, I'm a novelist. If there were other opportunities, there were like some script opportunities and things like that. At the time, I was like, no, I'm a novelist. That's what I do. That's what I want to do. Kind of learned the form and And then aerial came along, and it did change things because you're sort of more aware of the space, more aware of like the kind of catalytic power of writing, which I think, you know, is within you. Like when you're writing, you think, okay, I want this to like make people think about this. But I think there's something about performance that then reconnects to what you're doing. You think, well, you know, how can I use what I know from this area of things that I work on? How can I bring that back into my work?
And this new passion, and you're not letting it go. Wow.
Oh, yeah. It does feel like that. It's weird because you ask yourself, like, why am I doing this? Like, do I think I can change people? Do I think I can, you know, like, you know, been trying to like solve the problem of certain things for so long.
Were you one of those writers that spent hours and hours on like a desk typing, writing, or?
I was, and I like plan, I over plan, and then I go and do. I think that's the difference now, because before I would be at my desk writing, edit. Now, so like I'm working on a script for a narrative aerial piece. I write what I think is the script, and then I go and try it, and it doesn't work, or something else comes through, and so I've become a little bit more like malleable in approach, and found like I almost kind of like build in those moments to find like happy accidents. But it's interesting because you say like, why do you do it? And part of it is because I think like there are things we really need to talk about, there are voices we really need to hear. I want to try and do that or facilitate that, or you know, in whatever way that I can. But the other thing is like the sense of when you're creating, whatever you're creating, like you're awake, aren't you? You know, I think almost that is the pure only reason to do it. I know there are all these other things and reasons to like be creative and to make plays or to make performance and to write, but it is also that act of engaging with yourself and your mind or your body, whatever the art form is, and being like truly kind of in that space and that moment, and being, you know, just alive, I suppose. So yeah, that's why I do it.